What made Jimin and Jungkook freeze in silence in the crowd? What evidence did fans find that everything changed in a matter of seconds? Discover the shocking reality that shook fandom around the world. Don't forget to leave a comment, click like, and subscribe to keep abreast of the most controversial developments from the BTS world that have never been revealed before. Are you ready for the truth that Jimin and Jungkook can't even speak on their own? A video less than 2 minutes long has caused shockwaves in the BTS fan community. No one expected that out of the millions of fancam videos and documentation of the fans, there would be a single piece of image that changed everything. In a world where their every move is observed, their every smile analyzed, one little moment captured on camera is now at the center of one of the biggest controversies to ever afflict two of the most cherished members in the group. Jimin and Jungkook. First, it was just a post from a small fanbase on Twitter with a simple caption. Something is strange here. Take a look at 037. In a matter of hours, the post turned into viral fuel. The video shows Jimin and Jungkook at a closed-door event, standing next to each other. But their expressions are unusual. Their smiles, not as the army knows. Their eyes shy away from each other. And amid the glare of camera lights and the fake laughter of the hosts, their bodies seem to freeze. Why aren't they staring at each other? Why? Precisely when the camera stopped recording and the atmosphere became calmer, Jimin seemed to take a deep breath, as if holding back something that could not be said, but it all really exploded when another fan uploaded another footage from a different angle. In the footage, something even more shocking is clearly visible. Jungkook is holding a small brown envelope before the event begins. The envelope was given clandestinely by someone from backstage. What's in that envelope? And why, after reading it, Jungkook's expression changed drastically? Those who saw the event live confirmed that Jungkook had asked for an unscheduled break for 15 minutes. Upon returning, Jimin seemed to have wiped the tears from his face, while Jungkook seemed to have lost focus, his voice trembling as he spoke. The army began to assemble piece by piece. They zoom in on images, research expressions, and piece together timelines from multiple sources. A theory began to emerge that what was happening behind that stage was something very personal. It's not just about work, it's also not about pressure from management. It's deeper, more personal, and perhaps more painful than fans ever imagined. That a former staffer, who declined to be named, sent an anonymous message to one of the big fanbase accounts. In his message, he wrote, "Asterisk, if the public knew what really happened that night, the world would change. But trust me, both are victims, and they were not given a choice." Asterisk, that statement deepened the mood. What does it mean that both are victims? Who doesn't give them a choice? And more importantly, what is written in the letter in the envelope? As fans grew crazier trying to unearth the facts, a new account on TikTok emerged, claiming to have footage of the backstage sound recording of the night. In the audio that sounds fragmented and full of rumbling sounds, there is one sentence that sounds clear. Asterisk, if you keep going with this, not only you are destroyed, but he is too. Asterisk, the sentence struck like lightning in the middle of the night. Who said it? To whom is the sentence addressed? Army began to speculate that there was great pressure from a higher entity. It could be from the agency. It could also be from outsiders who have a personal interest in BTS's public narrative. While cyberspace continues to debate all theories and clues, neither Jimin nor Jungkook has issued a single statement. In each of their appearances after the incident, the interaction between the two looked much different. No eye contact. No light joking as usual. In fact, in one of the live broadcasts, Jungkook was seen staring into the camera for quite a while before saying, "Sometimes, silence is safer than telling the truth." The sentence, although short, leaves a heavy burden. It was as if there was something he really wanted to say, but it was blocked by an invisible wall that he couldn't break through. Public concern increased. The most devoted fans began to ask for clarification directly from HYB. The hashtags #SpeakUpJiminJungkook and #WhatHappenedAtTheEvent started trending topics globally. However, the agency still chose silence. In fact, they abruptly canceled the duo's appearance on one of the variety shows, citing personal reasons and internal schedule adjustments. The more silent, the louder the speculations sound. Until finally, a clip appeared that made everything even hotter. In the weekly vlog uploaded by the production staff, there was one accidental snippet that was not edited. In the clip, Jimin is seen speaking in a stressful tone in a backstage hallway. He said to a man whose face was not visible on camera, "Why are you sending that letter to him now? You know he's not ready." The sentence sparked a new explosion in speculation. What was it about the letter that worried Jimin? Why was the letter sent during the event? And who is you he meant? Meanwhile, some fans began to find strange patterns in Jungkook's old posts on his social platforms. Captions that used to look mediocre now feel full of hidden messages. The caption reads, "You won't understand until you lose the one thing you're told to protect." The remark, posted a few weeks before the incident, is now interpreted as a tacit warning that something important is about to happen. Time went on, but the atmosphere around the two did not subside. During one of the concert appearances, when it was their turn to perform in a duet, Jungkook seemed to hold back tears while singing the last verse. And when the camera pans to Jimin's face, his eyes can't hide, like someone who has lost so much, yet is unable to say anything in front of the world. Is it about personal relationships that are unacceptable to the system around them? Are they fighting for something that is forbidden, even at the highest levels of the industry? Or are they just two young humans who are victims of excessive expectations and pressures that never give them the space to be human? Until now, the brown envelope has never been seen again. But one thing is certain, Jimin and Jungkook's silence is not without meaning. Behind their silence, there was a great storm that they were enduring on their own. And maybe, behind the camera, they're trying to find a way to survive in a world that requires them to keep smiling. Even when their hearts are bleeding, one would have thought that a piece of mail could be the lighter of the mental devastation of two of the most shining icons of this generation. Yet that's what seems to be happening. The brown envelope, which was not supposed to appear in public, has now become a symbol of something deeper: the betrayal, internal pressure, and fear that Jimin and Jungkook have been locked in tight. Someone behind the scenes is apparently not satisfied with the perfect image that has been displayed by both. There are strong indications that the contents of the letter are not just ordinary notes or technical instructions from the agency. From their body language, from the way Jimin lowered his head and Jungkook turned his face every time the name of the letter was called, the fans began to understand that this concerned a much more sensitive and dangerous thing. The issue began to emerge that the letter contained not only pressure, but threats. Threats that use their past as a weapon, something that has been kept so neatly out of the reach of the media. Jungkook is known to have had a difficult time in his early debut, including conflicts involving people from his past before he joined Big Hit. Jimin is also not without a burden. He was rumored to have received excessive internal pressure due to his proximity to Jungkook, which was considered not commercially profitable because it was considered to violate their brand image concept. But if it's all just gossip, why do the two seem so smitten? And why don't they speak up? Some fans ventured to unpack the old archive. They unearthed past interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and even footage that had never been considered important before. One of the videos that came back viral was when Jimin unconsciously said, "We're not allowed to get too close," in a training session for their world tour concerts last year. At the time, fans thought it was just a joke. But now, the meaning of the phrase has become completely different. It is as if there is a protocol implemented to maintain a distance between the two. It is as if there are unwritten limits that are instilled in them, not for professional reasons, but because of the fear of certain parties that their proximity will disrupt the order. Speculation is crazy. Some say the letter came from an important individual who had control over each member's personal marketing strategy. The individual is said to have direct connections to the large shareholders behind HYB, who see the proximity of Jungkook and Jimin as a liability that could affect the brand's valuation. In the cruel and intriguing world of the Korean entertainment industry, even the touch of a hand can be interpreted as a threat to stock stability. Some fans claim that they saw Jimin walk out of the HYB building alone that night, wearing a hoodie and mask, with tears still visibly streaming down his face. Meanwhile, Jungkook reportedly locked himself in his dorm for 3 whole days, refused to do live broadcasts, and even missed dance rehearsals that he usually never misses. Even more surprising, a former employee of the artist's schedule management department posted an anonymous message through an online forum, saying that the elimination of interaction between the two is now being carried out slowly at the request of the brand management division. It didn't take long for fans to catch that in the latest content on their official YouTube channel, the moment between Jimin and Jungkook began to be drastically reduced. Even in one episode of the internal reality show, a scene where Jimin is seen hugging Jungkook was suddenly cut for no apparent reason. The overly crude editing raised big question marks, reinforcing suspicions that there was a systematic operation to keep them out of the public eye. In a radio interview, RM accidentally said something ambiguous. "We're all trying to keep our distance, for good reason." The sentence immediately sparked a strong reaction. Is it an implied admission that what Jimin and Jungkook are going through is not a fan illusion, but rather part of the company's official strategy? The controversy reached a climax when BTS' official Instagram account suddenly deleted one old post-day photo of Jimin and Jungkook laughing together backstage at a concert in Paris. Fans noticed the change in a matter of minutes. No explanation, no clarification, only a tacit removal then triggers more questions than answers. What caused the photo to be deleted? Is there anything in it that is considered dangerous? Or is it part of a campaign of detracing their relationship that is actually very deep, more than the public knows? The agency released a brief statement through a press release, saying that all BTS activities are under reorganization to accommodate individual conditions and professional needs. The language is too common, too sterile, too cold to appease fans who are already on fire. Army International has even started a global petition titled "Let Them Be Real," calling for the right to privacy and emotional autonomy of members, especially Jimin and Jungkook, who seem to be stuck in roles they didn't choose. Behind the scenes, new information is constantly emerging. A source at the agency, who did not want to be identified, said that Jungkook had made a personal request to reevaluate the structure of the creative team that handles the members' personal content. But the request was rejected, citing could trigger internal conflicts. The same source mentioned that Jungkook looked very disappointed and said, "So we're just puppets with scripts, huh?" In a live broadcast held a few days after the brown envelope incident, Jimin appeared to hold back tears as he read a fan comment that said, "We know you can't talk, but we're still here." He didn't answer anything. He just smiled weakly, bit his lip, then stared at the screen blankly. Silence is louder than a scream. And the public knows. They knew something was broken, not between Jimin and Jungkook, but in the system that used them. A system that prefers to stifle the truth in order to maintain a perfect image, even if it has to sacrifice the mental health and personal integrity of their own idols. That it's not all about letters. It's the story of two young humans who for years live under the spotlight, forced to play roles they didn't choose, then punished as they try to be themselves. And now, with their silence, the world is even more aware that there are wounds that cannot be healed with sweet words in press releases or fake smiles in variety shows. And when everything seems to be already painful enough, reality becomes even more brutal. Behind the magnificent stage, amid the incessant applause, the two figures who had been considered the most powerful began to collapse in silence. What Jimin and Jungkook don't say speaks louder than their thousands of songs. And when the cameras turn off, when the studio goes quiet, there are only two humans left who are forced to choose between maintaining the truth or remaining an illusion for the sake of the survival of the system that has been selling them to the world. No one expected that HYB, a company that has been considered a home, would actually be the highest wall that prevents them from breathing freely. Some insiders who were no longer working under the label began to open their voices implicitly. In limited chats secretly recorded by fellow staff, terrible phrases began to appear. The letter must be sent before the concert. If they open their mouths, all contracts can collapse. Don't let the camera capture their closeness again, no matter what. Yeah, whatever it takes. Even if it has to remove the most human part of them. Fans, who initially thought this was just a casual dynamic between the members, are now starting to see more than just interactions on stage. They realize something has changed drastically, not because love is fading, nor because they are bored with each other, but because of outside intervention that deliberately separated them, making them move away from each other, erasing the togetherness that used to be their strength. One fanbase from South Korea ventured to release a leaked transcript of internal communications obtained from a person claiming to work in the legal department. The transcript indicated that there was an internal memorandum suggesting that public interaction between Jimin and Jungkook be reduced in order to protect the stability of each artist's brand positioning. In other words, their personal relationships are considered harmful to the company's profits. Even more egregious, it is mentioned that if they do not comply with this policy, there will be a review of their major endorsement contracts, including those relating to international brands such as Calvin Klein and Dior. In a world where their every move is valued with money, even a hug can be interpreted as an economic threat. The public is split. Some still deny, some cursed, but others are beginning to realize that Jimin and Jungkook are no longer just idols. They are victims of a system that makes their emotions a commodity, as well as a prison. And now, when one small step from them can destroy the great narrative that has been built over the years, they are forced to choose silence or be destroyed. Jungkook, who has always been known as cheerful and full of energy, suddenly wrote a post with a caption that froze the blood of anyone who read it. Some truths are meant to stay in the dark, not because we want it, but because we have no choice. It didn't take long before the post was deleted, but the internet has not forgotten. Screenshots spread in seconds, and from there everything exploded. Jimin was no less surprising. In a short interview session recorded for the purpose of promoting the album, he was asked about the relationship between the members. He replied with a very slight smile, "We are still together, but sometimes not in the sense that people expect." The phrase that at first glance sounds diplomatic actually makes the atmosphere hotter. Is he talking about pressure from management? Or is he directly insinuating a systematic attempt at separating himself from someone he trusts the most? As public pressure mounted, one of the most senior reporters known for exposing the secrets of the Korean entertainment industry wrote a controversial opinion column claiming that there is an internal project within HYB that actively oversees the emotional interactions between BTS members, especially when it comes to relationships that are considered too intimate or do not fit with the designed public image. The column angered netizens, but also sober. Realize that what they have been watching on the screen is not the whole reality, only partially, a portion that has been filtered, arranged, polished to look perfect. And that which does not correspond, that which is too frank, too emotional, too real, is discarded, erased, destroyed.